Hi guys, how's it going? It's jumping off. So I I got a little set of watercolors that I thought would be fun to open up and swatch out with you guys and maybe try it out in a coloring book. So this was sent to me by Woomer, and I haven't really seen these around, but I haven't really been watching that many watercolor review videos lately, so I don't know, maybe some of you guys have already seen it. So yeah, this was sent, just for me to review and look at. The person that reached out to me from Woomer, I mentioned that I've been wanting to try their colored pencils, and she was pretty happy that I had heard of their colored pencils, and so maybe at some point they'll send me some pencils or something. Who knows? Anyway, so this is really cute. I don't have anything like this. I've seen tons of these little micro palettes in different iterations of them. Some made of bamboo, some made out of wood, lots of plastic ones. But I don't really paint plein air, so I don't really take my watercolors anywhere other than my desk. So I've never purchased any of them. So I was really happy to see this. Anyway, so let's check it out. It's a cute little, everything looks like it's all compact, and I'm thinking this is probably a water cup. So that's pretty cool. And I have not opened this. Let's see, there's a little notch on the corner there. So this is a 9-color set. And it has two little... Oh, it's so cute. Look how cute it is. And it has little kitties. That's adorable. Let me see. So it looks like this will clip on somewhere. Let's see. Wait, I think. Yeah, it'll clip on right there. So you've got a little water cup. It's so cute. Oh, and then I love how the whole thing just folds up and slips back in there. Adorable. Okay, well, I'm not going to be using this, but it's nice to see that it does fit on there, and it seems like it holds pretty snug. So let's take, there's a little swatch card in here, so let's take that out. Looks like it's in there pretty well. And you probably could use that as a little mixing area too. So let's see, the colors are yellow light, oriental orange, permanent red, quinacridone rose, lilac purple, cobalt blue, ultramarine, phthalo green, and Payne's gray, which I thought was really cool that it comes with a Payne's gray. Huh. Interesting. I'm glad that they didn't put white or black in there, So anyway, so yeah, so let's swatch them out. I was reading the back of the label, and they do give pigment information for each color. So it looks like it's, pretty legit. And I think that the color selection is really interesting. So let's see how they swatch. Wanna? So we'll do both at the same time. I made a little bit larger swatch card here. So hopefully you guys can see it okay. And I did just a black line with a Sharpie so we can look at transparency. Looks like these are probably a little smaller than a half pan size. They look to be extruded. They're definitely extruded pans rather than poured. So I'm gonna actually give these all a little dollop of water. And I like to do that anytime I have new watercolors, because you never know like how long things have been sitting in a warehouse. I probably should have tested it first, huh? To see how well it activated just from without doing that. But oh well, too late now. All right, so let's see. Let's try out the yellow light. Uh-oh, I think I have some color on this brush. Hold on. Hold the phone. Oh, it's nice and vivid. Yeah, I did have a tiny bit of green in the brush. Sorry about that, guys. It's a nice light lemony yellow. Oh my gosh, this thing is so tiny. Hold on. There we go. Okay, and then this is the Oriental Orange. I didn't know if it was still, kosher to say Oriental. Is it? Is that a politically acceptable term? I kind of didn't think it was, but we'll see. I suppose maybe if you are of Asian descent, you can say whatever you want, right? Anyway, we won't get into that. So then this is permanent red. Oh, I didn't tell you the pigment numbers. So the yellow light is PY13, the Oriental Orange is PO13 and PR242. The permanent red is PR254. I'm glad that I pre-wet these a little bit, because I think that they are maybe just a little dry, but okay. And then this is the Quin Rose. And this is PV19. And I am swatching this on, it's a piece of Arches cold press. Ooh, I just stuck my hand right in there. Arches cold press. Well, that looks really nice. I really like the Quin Rose. It's a nice split primary palette. I almost see a little bit of, I don't know if I'm seeing granulation in there or what, but I am seeing a little bit of a color split in that lilac purple. You see there's a little bit of a, you can see the PV23 like staining. It's like more of a pink. underneath the more purple color. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it's definitely granulating. I can see it in the little kitty. You can see it's definitely separating. Okay, and then this is the cobalt blue. I'm trying to really load my brush up. It's a nice kind of medium tone blue. It's a perfect cobalt blue. And now we've got the ultramarine blue. Oh, and the cobalt is PB28. And the ultramarine, of course, is PB29. Nice, rich ultramarine. Beautiful. Let's add a little bit. Now this should, technically, this should also granulate. Yeah, that's a nice, rich ultramarine. Okay, and then our phthalo green. I'm excited about the Payne's Gray. I love Payne's Gray. And, you know, every paint manufacturer's formulation for Payne's Gray is, you know, a little bit different. And so I just think it's kind of fun to, it's a fun color to play with and experiment, you know, with different makers of Payne's Gray because they're all different, you know. See how dark it is. Oh, I love it. It's super dark. And this is a great color to replace black in a palette for sure. So it's PG7 and PB15. So it's made with the same PG7 pigment as the phthalo green plus PB15. Just trying to see if I add a little bit of extra water, if we can get some granulation going in there. Can definitely see the ultramarine is granulating. I went a little heavy on the black line there. Whoops, I forgot to swatch the little kitty. There he is. Oh, yeah, I can definitely see some granulating in the cobalt blue, for sure the lilac purple. I am seeing it in the ultramarine, also the phthalo green, and the Payne's Gray. We'll see how they look when they dry. So, and here's my little baby. I'm just gonna go ahead and stick it in there. Stick it back in there. And I thought it would be fun to just try these on a coloring page that I plan to watercolor anyway. I think I'm actually trying to complete this book. This is Tales from the City Among the Stars. And I've done quite a few pages in here, so I'm feeling like I'm actually making some pretty good progress on it. Let me turn these other lights on. There we go. So I'm just gonna do these flags I'm not going to do the background. I'm just going to work on the flags. Maybe mix a couple of colors and see how they work on here. So let's see. Let's start off with the orange, with the Oriental orange. I'm going to add a little bit of the yellow in there. We'll do a little bit of color mixing too and see if we can see how our the yellow, and do some mixes of greens and things like that too. So let's see. Let's actually do that. We'll see what kind of green we can get from this yellow light and the ultramarine. This thing is so tiny, but it's so cute. So that's going to give us I don't know if you guys can look at the granulation going on. Got almost like a little bit of a sap green going on here. I don't usually do much color mixing when I'm coloring in coloring books. Because, well, I mean, I do a little bit, but for the most part, I'm just going direct from my palette using a water brush. And because I use such a small little water brush, sometimes it's just kind of a pain to mix a bunch of colors. So let's see. Let's mix some of this quinacridone rose. Let's mix some of that with the ultramarine. See what kind of deep purpley violet color we can get. I'm going to add a little bit more Quin Rose to it. Yeah. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's do this flag down here. And I don't really care if I go outside the lines that much. Probably won't get much in the way of granulation on this paper because it's pretty smooth. I am in the process of doing some testing on Amazon paper, Amazon coloring book paper, using a bunch of different like coatings or treatments on the paper. And I will say that using clear gesso using clear gesso on the paper beforehand, and you know, you let it dry on coloring book pages. Actually, it gives you really nice granulation because the color can't really soak into the paper at all. And so they don't have any choice but to like kind of separate out. It's kind of cool, actually. So let's see. I'm going to grab a little bit bigger brush. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Let's try this red. The permanent red. I kind of have a feeling I'm not really going to like this mix. It's probably not really my thing. But I'm just going to see what happens when we mix it with the cobalt blue. Probably not going to be fabulous. Yeah, it's usually more of a kind of a dirty red. Kind of a dirty sort of red. Or a dirty sort of purple. But it's a great shadow color for sure. Let's see. Actually, I'm just going to do that on these little, like these little patches. I'm going to try just the phthalo green by itself up here. I have yet to do any kind of color along at all on this channel. And yeah, I don't really know what my deal is. I think it has to do with, I don't know, it's like a, I don't want to say pressure, but like, I just, oh my gosh, my cats have the zoomies all of a sudden. I think it's more of a thing where I don't really ever know what I'm going to do when I start working on stuff. And if I start recording, then maybe I do feel pressure to like finish it. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Okay, I just have to put this Quinn Rose on this one. And I'm just going to go over the stars. It's not quite as saturated as other quinacridone rose colors that I have, but and I am going to do a watercolor collection video. I'm just kind of, I don't know. I keep thinking I need to do some kind of color along video before I do that, but I guess it doesn't really matter. But I've been extremely productive so far this month. I'm pretty happy as far as my colorings. So there we go. So I'm not going to do a whole bunch more. Usually these smaller pieces I'll just go ahead and do with, well, maybe I'll do them. I'll go ahead and add some yellow. I got my yellow all dirty. So hard to keep yellow like immaculately clean. Anyway, yeah, I am going to add a little bit of yellow in there because these are actually lanterns. There we go. Yeah, and if I wind up doing a background on here, I'll probably do it with like gel crayons or Neocolor 2s or something like that. I got a couple sets of the Muntio water-soluble oil pastels, and I'm really liking them. I've been, hesitant to buy them, because to buy any of those kinds of things like the crayons and all that, because I just don't know how much I'll use them, you know what I mean? So I haven't wanted to pull the trigger on a lot of that kind of stuff, but I'm sort of starting to get over it. Anyway, and I did get a set of those eye crayons too, both color sets. And I'm thinking about doing a little bit of my own little review on those. But anyway, so there we go. Yeah, you can really see the separation in that lilac purple. And I don't know if I would call it granulation. I guess maybe it is. It's definitely layered. And since I added those drops of water in these, they're definitely cauliflower, but I do that because sometimes that's a good way to see what kind of granulation you're actually getting. But anyway, it's not that important. Granulation isn't really all that important. I just like to know. I'm curious about it. So, and the ultramarine is typically a highly granulating pigment, the PB29. So anyway, so that's it. I would say this little guy is very cute. I think that, I didn't put any of the Payne's Gray on here. Maybe I'll do the background with Payne's Gray. I love the Payne's Gray. It's probably my favorite color in here. And the ultramarine. The ultramarine is really nice. It's very rich, very vibrant. The Quin Rose is nice. It's really nice on the swatch. I didn't necessarily like it in my coloring book, but it is nice on the swatch. And so is the Oriental Orange. I would call it, it's kind of a medium orange. And I'm sorry I didn't go into a bunch of, different color mixing and that kind of thing, but, I did just a little bit. But yeah, as far as my opinion about this little set, I think it's well made. It's very solid. I think that these are, it's not flimsy at all. Like these pieces are very, very sturdy. And I love the little water cup. I think it's great. If you're out and about, you could, one thing you could do is you could actually take this paper, take this little swatch card, and you could use it as a template to cut out some other papers, like that if you want to paint like little miniature landscapes or anything like that on the go. And you could probably fit, I don't know, like you could probably fit at least 6 or 7 of them in there, and you could actually just paint. You could just hold this like that. Have your little water cup. Maybe you'd have to kind of hold it like that. Slightly angled, And you could paint. Have your little mixing areas and your little water cup. You could even put a sponge in there if you wanted to. If you were using a water brush, you could just put a sponge in there. But yeah, I think these are going for I looked on Amazon. They're somewhere around $16.95, something like that. And I'm going to wait to post this until I actually get the coupon code from the lady that emailed me. She's offering, you know, we can do a 10%. She's offering a 10% coupon for my viewers. So yeah, cute little set. Little Woomer watercolor paint set with 9 colors. And I do like it. I think it's really cute. And I'll keep it. I like it. I'll add it to my collection. Okay, guys? All right. If you have any questions, or if you have this set, tell me what you think about it. I'm curious to know, you know, if you've tried these paints. And yeah, I didn't know Woomer even made watercolors. So there we go. There's my little thumbnail. Okay, guys, I love you. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.